everyone. Welcome. It's good to have you here. My name is Hal. This is Quail Studios Guitar and Keys. We are going to continue with something we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Actually, last week was Thanksgiving, so I wasn't here, but we're going to work on Now and Then one more time. And we're going to talk about the lead, but this time we're going to talk about it in terms of using a slide. Last time we talked about playing the lead without a slide. Right? And this week we're going to talk about it with a slide. And that kind of thing. This isn't the best guitar to do that, but I'm going to do my best. This is the one I have. One time, a friend of mine was playing slide in a band with me, and he had a guitar that had really high strings on it. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, but that is crazy, because it was kind of an inexpensive guitar and he had it set up very high off the fretboard. But if you're going to use it as a slide guitar, you don't need to have it really close to the fretboard. Now, this guitar that I've got, this is a Yamaha like Telecaster, not a copy, but kind of a style. You'll notice right there I've got a piece of paper right there under one of my bridge pieces, and that's to raise it up. I couldn't find a hex wrench, an Allen wrench, that would fit this. It's kind of weird. I have some Allen wrench sets, and I have a 1/16 of an inch, and then I had a 0.05, and it's in between those. It's kind of weird, but and I have one somewhere in my studio or somewhere, but I can't find it. So I was going to raise that piece up, but I decided, well, I can't find my Allen wrench, so I'm going to just put a piece of paper under it. So that's what I did, just to raise it up a little bit. And the reason I did is because I want that string to be a little bit higher off the fretboard so that we can, let me turn it up just a hair. And I wanted to get it a little higher so it won't buzz or anything like that. Now, using a slide, if you've never used a slide before, obviously it's round, right? I've seen people use tools, like a socket, to do this. You can get metal slides. This happens to be a very small, short glass slide, kind of thick, so if I drop it, I don't have a hard floor here, but if I were to drop it on something, hopefully it won't break. And I like to use it on my ring finger. And what happens is that when you play with a slide, it's a lot like playing harmonics. Oops. Like that. You have to play right over the fret. And you can't be, when you play a note on the guitar, you play in between the frets and hopefully close to the fret that you're pushing down, because when you're playing a guitar, the string vibrates from the bridge to the nut if the string is open. If you're playing a note, then it's vibrating from that fret to the bridge, and the pickups pick up the note. So what you have to do with a slide is you have to, now I'm putting it on my ring finger. I don't know if that's the best finger for you, but since it's a curved slide, you have to get that curvy part right over the fret. And if you don't, it'll be a little high or a little low in the wrong place. So when you're listening to a chord, right? When you're listening to a chord or something, or some music, you have to tune it. And if you're a little flat, then you need to bring it up so that it's in tune. So you have to practice that. Now you can do that with a tuner. I've got my tuner, my TC electronic tuner. I think I hear some piano in the other room. So that's in tune. Sometimes what we'll do Sometimes what we'll do is we'll do a little vibrato. Let's see what people have to say. Bob is here. Hello, Bob. He's helping me out today. Thank you, Bob. Dwayne is here. Says it was buffering, but it's probably not buffering anymore. Hopefully not. Dwayne asks, so with a slide, you don't press down behind the fret? No, you don't press down. You don't want to press down. It's not like pressing on the fret. What you do is you just touch the fret. You touch the string with the slide. You can hear that buzzing a little bit. Because this guitar isn't set up really for a slide very well. This guitar plays like butter. I love this guitar. And the strings are actually pretty close to the frets. So when I play it, I don't really have to push down very hard. Dwayne asks, so the slide acts as the fret? Yes, it does. When it's metal or glass, what happens is that you put the slide on the string, and it acts like a fret, but it's a movable fret. Sounds kind of cool. Like that, right? Let me turn it up a little bit here. Right? So when we're playing, now let me put on the screen for just a second. I'm going to turn off my camera and I'm going to put on the tab that I wrote for you. I don't have any chords over it, but this is the tab. And when we're playing this, you'll notice it goes 8 to 10 slide. And it goes 13, 12, 8, and then back to 5, 8, slide up to 10. So let me make this a little bit smaller. I did that so that you could copy it on your screen. Now I can send this to people. I'd be glad to send it to you if you want to just ask me for it. Send me an email. I'm not going to get you into anything or try to sell you something. If you don't want to be sold anything, that's fine. You can always make a donation to me, and you can look in the description for ways to support me. I'm on Patreon, I'm on Subscribestar, and I have a PayPal link. And you can just make a donation if you want to help support my channel. Sometimes when I'm playing songs like this, the company that owns the rights to the song will say, you're playing our song, and so you have to share monetization with us. Certain songs have been blocked before, and that's a drag. So I can't play certain songs. But I think the last time I did a Beatles song and I played, they said, you need to share monetization. So if you can give me $1 for any view that you have, or if you learned something and you want to kick in $5 or $10, that's great. If you kick in anything, I will send you my book, and you can have that. I'll put you on my email list too. Anyway, it's all the way up to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide. So it's a little tricky because when I play the note, I know exactly where I'm going, but on the slide, sometimes I get a little mixed up. You know what I mean? Because you're over the fret, you're not behind the fret like you normally are. So on this, let's see where to go. Right there. So you play, you go up to 10, and then you go to 13, 8, and you hold it. Now we'll go down to 5, 8, and then slide up to 10. Now you'll notice I'm moving my slide around a little bit. Lost it. Sometimes if you're just sitting there, it sounds a little out of tune. So what you want to do is do a little vibrato. Hey, Joseph, welcome. I see you there. Okay, where was I at? Oh yeah, I went on the top line, 5, 8, and then 8 slide up to 10. Little vibrato there. 13. Oop, right there. There it is. I got mixed up on that. There's my 8th fret. Slide down to 5. And then it goes back to up to 8. 5, 8 slide. 8 to 10 slide. Oops, I lost it. I have to push a little bit with this. And then we're on measure 13 on the bottom line. 10 again. 7, 10. 10 again. Down to 8. Back down to 5. And you stop. That's the lead in the middle of Now and Then. Right? And the background sounds like this. Something like that. I'm not going to play the whole thing because they'll call me out on it. So that's what we do. Now, if I rock the slide back and forth like this, you'll notice that every once in a while if it does that, that's because I don't have that slide flat on there. One of the things I tried to do, like I described earlier, is I tried to raise this bridge piece a little bit so I could get that string a little higher than the other strings, just to be able to do this slide stuff. And also what I'm doing here is I've got my fingers muting all the strings except the one I want to play. We're only on the B string, so that's what we do. Right? So it's a little tricky. You got to use your ears. Right, are there any questions? Yes, Joseph, we're glad you made it. Thank you very much. Give me a thumbs up if you guys like what I'm doing. Don't have a lot of people here today, it doesn't look like. Concurrent viewers, it says 4, but I can't always trust that. It says views 16, like people have come and gone and things like that. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this right here, what I'm looking at on this page. It's a little different. Anyway, glad you came along. So if there's no questions, Dwayne says, no questions. I've never used a slide at all, so it's all new to me. Right. It's kind of fun. I don't usually use too much slide, although sometimes when I hear music with slides, it's kind of fun. I know years ago, when I was a teenager, I went to a concert, saw Foghat down in Long Beach, California, near where I used to live. And, they used a slide on some of the stuff that they did. You know Foghat? I think they were an English band. It was really fun. Loved it. Really, really good. There's another thing I want to talk about today. Now, if you have any questions or anything, that's all I have to say about the Now and Then Beatles. Hello, Lisa. See you. I see you. That's all I'm going to say about the Beatles lead right there and the slide and that kind of thing. But I am going to talk about one other thing. I was sort of on vacation visiting my family over Thanksgiving holiday, and I was working with my son, David, and we were playing together. And let me pull up a sheet that I was working with him on, and he kind of surprised me. Let me show you this sheet. Let's see, there we go. Let me move this around just a little bit. That's not it. Is that the one? That's the one. There we go. I'm going to zoom in on this. In fact, here we go. And I wish I could make it different. Well, okay. So right here, you can see I've got my cursor there. I don't know if you can see my cursor. If you're on a phone, you may not be able to see this really well. But what we've got here is a sheet that has major scales on it. This is in my book, by the way. we were working in the key of G. Now right there is the key of G. You'll notice the notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And this sheet helps you to understand something about scales. Now these first 5 keys, key of C, G, D, A, and E, those are our favorite scales to play in as guitar players. I'll tell you, those are the ones we love more than anything else. C, G, D, A, and E. I'm going to bring that back up in just a second. I'm going to show you something about that. Right here. You'll notice that the C is an uppercase letter, the F is an uppercase letter, and the G is an uppercase letter. The C, F, and G, the 1, the 4, and the 5, you see the Roman numerals underneath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1, 4, and 5 are what we call primary chords. So in the key of C, it's C, F, and G. So if you play C, F, and G like that, those are primary chords. That's also a cadence. A lot of times on piano, we play C, F, C, G, C. Here, let me get my piano out. Just need to plug it in, give it like 5 seconds to warm up, and I'm going to play a cadence for you on the piano. I'll do it an octave lower. Okay, so that's the cadence. I played C, F, C, G, C. Now we can play a song with it. Right? Ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba. Ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba. C, F, G, C, F, G. Now let's change keys and go to the key of G. You'll notice that the next line right there is the key of G. Now from C to G, you'll notice that C is 1 and G is 5. This is actually the circle of fifths written out. So we're going to start on the next line, G. You'll notice that the first column is a G, the fourth column is a C, and the fifth column is a D. So C, G, C, and D are what we call the primary chords. Let's see, let's turn that off just for a second. So G, C, and D. Ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba, ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba, que necesita una poca de gracia. G, C, D. G, C, D. And that's what you do. You play 1, 4, and 5 in whatever key you're in. So I was working with David. For a second there, I wondered if it was actually in tune. Let's check my tuning really quick. Because I can't stand it when it's out of tune. It drives me crazy. Oh, that's a little low. You know, now that I'm done with that, I wonder if I can get that out. Oh, that's kind of stuck. Never mind, I'll just leave it there. It's kind of messing me up a little bit, having that B string a little higher. I'll just work with it. By the way, thank you very much for being here. Love all you guys. Okay, that's better. That's my scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's 2 octaves. It starts over. You can find those scales in my book too. So we go back to the G major scale right here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Those are the notes that I'm actually playing. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, just like that. Anyway, David can play that really well. Let's look at this other scale right here. Okay, there's our major scales. Let's look at our minor scales. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. Just like the other one. Let's see if they match. Oh, they're close. In fact, I think I'll make this one a little bigger too. Okay, so you'll notice that these match pretty closely. There's major scales, natural minor scales. Now on the second line down right there, I'm circling the E. This is the E minor scale. If I go back to G, you'll notice it goes G, A, B, C, D. Well, if I go to E minor, if I go to the third note, G, A, B, C, D, this is the same scale. There's an F sharp right there with a little circle on it. That little circle means that if you play the chord on the second note of the scale in this scale, it's a diminished chord. In the G major scale, the F sharp diminished is the seventh note in the scale. Now what happens is that when you're trying to play this scale right here, if you start on the third fret, G, A, B, C, D, E, keep going, F sharp, G, that's the same scale. The E minor scale is the same scale as the G major scale. Now it doesn't sound like it, right? Because I'm starting on E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. What's interesting about this is that if you know how to play this scale like this, then what you can do is you can start on E and then press down on the second fret, the F sharp, and then just play the G scale. And stop on the E note. If you stop on the E note, you've actually played the E minor scale. Right? So I'm just playing two notes before the G major scale. Right there. Right? Do you understand that? This was a little bit of a puzzle for David. He was having a little trouble with it. Here, let me bring that up. All right, let's see. Foghat, Slow Ride. Oh, yeah. Great song from the 70s. Says Bob. Lisa said, Are you Miss Me, Joseph? Bob says, Good Lovin' by the Rascals in D, G, and A. Let's go back to that. D, G, and A. Look at this. D, G, and A. For the third line down, 1, 4, and 5, D, G, and A. You're absolutely right, Bob. D, G, A. Yep. So on this sheet, you can actually figure out chords, those major chords right there that are uppercase letters. Those are called primary chords. Anytime you figure a song out or you play a song, if you notice, a lot of times those primary chords are really, really important. Now, let's look at G major right there. G major, C, D major, and then E minor right there. Right? Those four chords, G, C, D, and E, E minor, those are the chords that we use a lot in different songs. Okay, I'm going to be working with my daughter, Serene. Some of you may know her. If you've ever looked at Serene Vocal Studio on YouTube, she has a channel where she teaches singing and does things like that. She asked me the other day, Hey, Dad, you've got this sheet. How can I teach it to my students? What's the best way to do that? So we are working on a way to teach this to everyone. We're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to go, talk about just like what we're talking about today. Only I think I'm going to do a step-by-step. This is how you look at it. If you don't understand that sheet, then stick with me, and we may do a video on that later. But it's going to also go in my book, and I'm in my theory book. If you don't have my theory book, get in touch with me, and I can send it to you for a donation. And it goes along with my other book, and I haven't updated it for a whole year. I was looking at that today, and I kind of got stuck on it. basically because I've been so busy and doing other things. Although I have a solar project that I just finished. Yes, it's been up for 2 days now. Ready to start on the next project here at home. All right, so now we talked about major and minor scales a little bit today. Talked to you about that. We also talked about now and then. So if you're here and you didn't know what we were talking about, that's what we've talked about. Let me put that one more time on the screen. This, let's see, can I move that around? Nope, that's not the one I can move around. Not that one. That one, there we go. I'm going to put that one more time on the screen so you can see it, and you can do a screenshot of it, or freeze it or something like that. Or take your, what do you call that thing, the snipping tool, and make a photograph. Or you can get in touch with me, lessonswithhal@gmail.com, and I will send it to you. I will send you that sheet. Oops, need to work on this. So one of the things I would like to do is, if I was going to do more slide, I'd like to get a different guitar and really raise the strings on it. And even maybe put more of a radius in the strings so that they would stick out a little bit, so I wouldn't get, maybe I could only play 2 notes at the same time instead of getting, too many and getting that buzzing. That's what I would do. All right, thank you for being here. I'm going to go hang out with some supporters, and if you want to know how to do that, look in the description, and we're going to go hang out at Rock Out Loud. The link to meet with us after the live streams, I give it to my patrons at Patreon, I give it to my subscribers at Subscribestar, and I give it to the people on my email list so that they can meet with me. And we are going to do it. Congratulations, Hal. Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Bad Moon Rising. I see the bad moon rising. Something like that, huh? Yeah, 145. I see trouble on the way. That's not the right key. I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. That doesn't quite sound right to me, but it's close. Very good. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. And Bob, thank you very much for helping me out today, keeping an eye on everything. Same chords. Yes, it is the same chords. Very good. I love Bad Moon Rising. It's such a fun song. All right. Thanks very much. Love you guys. Thanks for being here and for all your support. Love it. Okay. Take care.